From the forests of California to the streets of Russia, there are creatures caught on camera that people still can't explain. And before you call it AI, remember, some of this footage is over 20 years old, long before AI was even a thing. In a small village in India, something fell straight out of the sky and crashed near the people living there. It had giant wings, a terrifying face, and looked like nothing from this world. The villagers were scared but still managed to grab it and wrap chains around it to keep it from moving. The creature fought back hard, screaming and struggling the whole time. Then it broke free from the chains and vanished before anyone could understand what they had actually caught that day. Beast on roof. 2 nights before Christmas is when you expect to see lights, snow, and maybe a neighbor putting up last-minute decorations, not a horned creature standing on a rooftop in the middle of the night. A man in Peru looked out his window and saw exactly that. A dark, tall figure with horns, standing on the roof next door in the snow like it was searching for something.
On the roof? It's not a decoration. Oh my god, it looked over here.
The Christmas lights below made the whole scene look almost too strange to be real. Nobody knows what it was looking for up there, but whatever it came for that night, it was not present. Dogs encounter. In Texas, a group of dogs cornered a strange winged creature up in a tree and would not let it come down. The creature had dark feathers, a human-like face, and kept screaming and hissing at the dogs from up in the branches. It looked absolutely terrified, but also incredibly aggressive at the same time. The dogs kept barking and circling the tree while the creature clung on and screamed. Eventually, it spread its wings, let out one last shriek, and flew off into the sky, and nobody in that yard wanted to find out where it went next. Creepy creature. Most people come back from Mexico with souvenirs and photos. This tourist came back with something far harder to explain. He was walking through the woods when something tall and skinny stepped out from behind a tree, with antlers on its head and a face that looked uncomfortably close to humans. It stared there for a moment before the creature quietly pulled back into the trees. The tourist made it out safely, but this type of encounter is not something you just forget and move on from. Werewolf encounter. A man in Mexico kept hearing strange noises coming from the woods near his home and decided to go check what was making them. When he got close to the water's edge, he spotted a large, dark creature crouched by the swamp that looked nothing like any normal animal.
It's looking right at me. Holy
It moved on all fours, had a wolf-like body, and looked exactly like the kind of werewolf creature most people only hear about in stories. He filmed it from a distance and got out of there, because whatever was crouching by that water in the dark was not something he wanted to get any closer to. Late night intruder. A woman heard strange noises outside her home late at night and went to check what was going on. When she looked out, she saw a giant beast standing right there on her street, tall, dark, and walking upright like a person. The moment it noticed her watching, it turned and came straight toward her. It tried to get over the fence, but could not make it, and eventually walked away down the street. She got it all on camera, and the scariest part is just how close it actually got. Russian creature. Russian police were called out to deal with something unusual on the streets, and when they got there, they found a slimy green creature with a huge mouth full of teeth just out in the open. Several officers had to work together just to hold it down and stop it from getting away. It kept thrashing and fighting back the whole time, covered in slime and looking like something that crawled out from a secret lab. Nobody explained what it actually was, and Russian authorities had not said a single word about it since. Wendigo encounter. A man was about to head into the woods when he spotted something tall and dark, standing right at the edge of the trees, staring back at him. It had antlers on its head, a thin, bony body, and stood upright like a person, which made it even more terrifying to look at. Most people who know about Wendigo sightings say this footage matches exactly what that creature is supposed to look like. He did not take a single step into those woods after seeing what was standing at the entrance waiting. Creepy creature. A shadow under a dock sounds harmless until it looks back up at you, and that is exactly what happened to tourists in Peru. Something dark was clinging to the pole underneath, staring straight up at them with a rough dark body that blended right into the darkness. Then it let go and slipped into the water.
It's looking right at us.
Oh my god.
It's sliding under.
Disappearing beneath the surface like it was never there. 1 second it was holding on, the next it was gone. Peru's waters have always had mystery to them, but nothing quite like whatever just crawled off that pole and vanished beneath that dock. Real-life vampire. An old video from Colombia was shared from an unknown source showing a creepy winged creature hanging upside down from the roof of a cave entrance. At first, it looked like it could be a bat, but when the footage gets clearer, it appears much larger and more human in shape. There are clothes on the ground right beneath it, which made the whole thing even more disturbing to look at. Nobody who shared this footage ever came forward to explain what was captured that day. Some believe it was a real-life vampire, others think it was a giant bat. Terrifying bird. A couple in Brazil lost their way at night and pulled over on the side of the road when they spotted something sitting on a post just ahead of them. It looked like a bird at first, but had a face that was far too human, and a mouthful of red flesh that no bird should have. Before they could even process what they were looking at, it launched itself straight at them, hit the screen, and then vanished into the dark just as fast as it appeared. The whole thing lasted only a moment, but was enough to leave them completely terrified. Beast encounter. A late-night delivery run turned into something a delivery boy will never be able to forget. Far down the empty street, he spotted something moving toward him, dark, walking low with massive curved horns that caught the streetlight as it moved closer. He was scared, and it did not charge, just passed right by him like he was not even there. The whole street was empty and silent, and this thing just walked through it like it belonged there. Whatever crosses empty streets at that hour, it clearly has no fear of being seen. Russian skinwalker. Nobody in that Russian town was ready for what showed up on their hillside that day. Pale, hairless, moving on all fours with a body far too long and stretched to belong to anything normal, it crossed the slope right in front of them without a care. It looked like a skinwalker or rake. Creatures like this do not show up in broad daylight without a reason. And the fact that it was completely unbothered by the audience watching it might be the most unsettling detail of all. Unexpected encounter. A man heading toward a parking area in Brazil looked up and spotted a pale, skinny creature crouched on top of a wall above him. It had glowing white eyes and a body that looked almost human, but stretched out and wrong in every way. The second it realized it had been spotted, it jumped down from the wall and disappeared into the dark, before he could even process what he had just seen. It moved too fast for any person, and was too strange looking to be any animal that belongs in a city. Terrifying bird. A driver was out late at night on a dark, empty road when something appeared right in front of the car in the headlights. It had feathers like a bird, but a face that looked almost human. With wide, pale eyes staring directly into the windshield. It just stood there in the road, completely still, looking straight at the driver like it was waiting for something. That driver has probably not taken a late-night road since. Camper encounter. A camper was spending the night in the woods in California when he suddenly heard loud noises, like something was running straight toward him. When he looked, a strange creature with long hair, a weird face, and a tail came charging through the trees in his direction. At first, he got really scared and did not know what to do. But the creature ran right past him and disappeared deep into the woods. The camper was lucky it did not stop, but he packed up and left that forest without looking back. Creepy creature. A strange video was shared online and nobody knows where it actually came from. Here you can see a dark, winged creature with big horns standing in the night, and then it lifts one of its horns and makes a loud sound, pointing it toward the sky. Right after that, dozens of tiny winged creatures start appearing in the sky above, like they were called. Many people who watch this video believe what they are seeing is a satanic creature. And after watching it, it is really hard to disagree with them. Humanoid goat. Near a local church in Romania, people managed to catch a strange creature that looked like it had the head of a goat and a human-like body covered in hair. It was tied down and kept screaming and thrashing the whole time, making it nearly impossible to control. Many people believed it started out as a human being before something changed it. A priest was brought in to try and help it, whether it was a possession, a transformation, or something else entirely. Nobody walked away from that with a straight answer. Abandoned house encounter. Some places are better left alone, and this abandoned house in Iraq is a perfect example of why. Here, a man with his dog went along to explore the old building when strange noises started echoing through the empty halls. Then a black figure with glowing eyes appeared from the darkness. They stayed there, observed it for a moment, and eventually got out safely. Because whatever was standing in that building, it did not look like anything from this world. Lost guy. A wrong turn in the middle of a Texas desert at night is already bad enough. But this man got more than just lost. He stopped to check his maps when his headlights caught something pale and fast-moving right across the dirt road in front of him. It was crouched low, moved like nothing natural, and disappeared into the dark just as fast as it appeared. He did not step out and got out of there immediately. And really, who would stay after seeing something like that? Tiny humanoid. A man was walking through the woods in Oregon when he spotted something tiny standing between the trees, just staring at him from behind the trunk. It was small, strange-looking, and completely still, like it knew he was watching. He tried to get closer to see what it actually was, but the second he moved toward it, the little creature darted behind the trees and completely disappeared. He looked everywhere around that area but found absolutely nothing, like it had vanished into thin air right in front of him. Backyard creature. A man's own backyard became the last place he ever felt safe, after a strange, hairy creature crawled across his grass and slipped right inside a tree trunk like it belonged there. He went closer to check and found a dark, wrinkled face staring straight at him from inside that hollow tree. Before he could even react, it was gone without a trace. Well, you expect something like this to be somewhere out in the wild, not 20 steps outside your back door. Fairy catch. A group of friends went out into the woods on a mission that most people would laugh at. They wanted to catch a real fairy. What happened next surprised everyone, because they actually caught one. There it was, inside a small clear container, tiny wings and a little face staring right back at them. Nobody could believe what they were holding in their hands. They had gone into those woods as a joke and came out with something that made every fairy story ever told real. Fields creatures. A farmer in Mexico was checking his fields when he spotted a strange gray creature hiding inside the corn, staring at him with big yellow eyes and a wide open mouth full of teeth.
Right there.
He backed away and the creature ran off into the fields. A few days later it came back, but this time it was taller, scarier, and even more aggressive, chasing the dogs right down the road. Everyone ran and got away safe. The creature disappeared after that and has not been seen since, but nobody around those fields is fully relaxed, knowing it could come back any day. Dogman encounter. A hiker walking through the woods in California came across something moving between the trees that did not look like any animal he had ever seen before. It was tall, walked upright, and had the body of a dog but moved like a person, which made it even more unsettling to watch. The hiker kept his distance and filmed it as it wandered through the trees completely unbothered. Most people who have watched this footage believe what this hiker came across that day in those California woods was a dogman. Secret tribe. Some corners of the world are still hiding things we have never seen, and this man in Mexico just found one of them. He was quietly moving through the woods when he spotted tiny creature-like beings gathered around a giant mushroom, living like a little hidden tribe, completely tucked away from the rest of the world. He did not make a sound, just pulled out his camera and started recording. They moved around unbothered, with no idea anyone was watching. Most people never come across something like this in their entire lives, and this man just stumbled onto it by accident. Werewolf chaos. In India, people on a busy street were shocked when a strange werewolf-like creature was spotted right in the middle of town. It had a metal muzzle strapped onto its face and heavy chains wrapped around it to stop it from breaking free. A huge crowd gathered as authorities struggled to hold it back and keep everyone safe. The police eventually got control and loaded it into a vehicle and drove away. Since that day, nobody has heard a single word about what it was or where they took it. Wooden creature. Have you ever looked at something and thought it was just trees, only to realize something was actually staring back at you? That is exactly what happened here. Deep in the woods, what seemed like moving branches turned out to be a creature nobody had ever encountered before. Its entire body blended with the wood and bark around it, making it nearly invisible to the eye. Whatever this thing was, it did not want to be found, and honestly, after seeing this, we are not sure anyone would want to find it. Terrifying encounter. Peru is known for its deep forests, but nobody expected something like this to be hiding inside them. What actually happened is a camper was spending the night in the woods when a pale, skinny creature with a mouth full of sharp teeth was already closing in on him from the front. The second he turned around, another one was coming from behind. He had no time, no plan, just ran, and somehow got out alive. Two creatures in the dark, and this man still made it. That is not luck. That is a miracle. Woods terror. A group of friends in Mexico were out at night when they spotted something moving near the bushes that did not look human. The creature was crawling low to the ground and had the shape of a werewolf, with a body that looked like it was changing. Nobody could figure out what it actually was, because it did not look like any normal animal found in that area. The whole thing was caught on camera, and the footage left everyone who watched it completely speechless. Strange monkey. Strange things come out at night, but nothing could have prepared a group for what was running around in that field. What looked like a monkey from a distance turned out to have a pale, bald head, huge hollow white eyes, and a face that belongs to no known creature on Earth. It was moving frantically through the grass, making noises like it was completely lost and confused. No animal behaves like this, and no animal looks like this. Whatever this thing was, it seemed more scared than scary, and that somehow makes it even stranger. Otherworldly birds. A group of friends were heading into the woods in Ohio for a camping trip when three creatures appeared on the path right in front of them. They had wings like birds, but faces and bodies that looked almost human, which made them unlike anything ever seen before. The creatures stopped right there and blocked the way in, as if they did not want the group going any further into those woods. Nobody knew what they were or why they were guarding that path. Whatever was deeper in those woods, these things clearly did not want anyone finding it. Winged goat. Farmers in Mexico have seen plenty of strange things on their land, but nothing could have prepared them for this. Standing right there in the open was a creature with the head and horns of a goat, a dark feathered body, and giant wings. It was not hiding, not running, just standing there in full view like it belonged. Two animals that have no business being one creature somehow ended up sharing the same body. Whatever this thing is, it did not come from any farm, and it certainly did not come from anything natural. Dundee encounter. A man came home late at night after Christmas and noticed two small creatures standing on his front porch. They looked like duendes, small, mysterious beings that people have reported seeing for years. One of them spotted him sitting in the car and took off running right away into the dark.
¿Qué es eso? No puede ser. No vio. Se está yendo.
The second one stayed on the porch a little longer before running away too. The Christmas lights were still on and the decorations were still outside, making the whole thing look even more unreal than it already was. Possessed goat. A scholar in Iran was reading from his book at night when a massive creature appeared standing right behind him. It was tall, had huge curved horns, and a body that looked like nothing from this world, just like a goat man. The creature stood completely still in the dark, almost like it was listening. Many people believe he called it himself through his reading. Creepy catch. Police officers near a highway in Nevada found a strange creature lying right in the middle of the road and immediately moved in to take control of it. It had wings spread out wide and a dark, heavy body that did not match any known animal. The officers struggled to hold it down, while others around them were visibly shaken by what they were seeing.
Ah! It's moving! Oh, shit, did you see that?
They took it away and loaded it up without telling anyone what it actually was. Since that day, no report was ever filed and nothing about this creature was ever made public. Headless runner. A hiker in Colorado was out on a trail when something strange ran across the open land right in front of them. The creature moved fast on two legs but had no head. Just a dark, round body with legs that carried it across the ground at speed. There was nothing in Colorado or anywhere else that looked anything like this. Only the hiker managed to catch it on camera before it disappeared into the distance. Nobody has been able to explain what it was. If you guys have any ideas, drop a comment. Caged creature. A farmer had been setting traps on his land for a while because something unknown kept coming onto his farm at night. When he finally checked his trap, he saw a creature inside the cage. It was dark, had horns, and moved and sat in a way that looked far too human to be any normal animal.
Ya caíste en la trampa, desgraciado. Ahora sí dinos quién eres antes de que te queme.
Salga de aquí, te voy a destripar.
More like a goat man. He set that trap hoping for answers. What he got instead were questions he was not ready for. Colorado creatures. An old video recorded on April 24, 1993 in a small town in Colorado captured something that was never supposed to be seen. A group of werewolf-like creatures were moving together out in the open, walking upright with animal faces and rough, dark bodies. They were spotted near stone structures and later coming out of cave openings in the hillside. Back then, people had no way of knowing what they were looking at. These creatures were seen roaming that town once, and many believe they never actually left. They just stopped letting themselves be seen. Pale creature. A driver was passing through the woods late at night when the car broke down right there on the dark, empty road. Stuck with no help around, things got even worse when something pale emerged from the tree line and came closer. It had long white hair, a thin, bony body, and hollow eyes that caught the headlights as it moved toward the car. It did not stop, just walked past the car and continued into the darkness. The car eventually started again, but whatever came out of those woods that night did not need a reason to come back. Tene human. Trail cameras catch a lot of things in the woods at night, but nobody in Colorado was ready for this. A tiny human-like figure walked right through the frame in the middle of the night, moving through the trees like it knew exactly where it was going. It had an odd-shaped head and walked upright. Whatever this little being is, it has clearly been out there for a while, and the only reason anyone knows is because a camera was pointed in the right direction that night. Mysterious dog. A group of friends were walking through the woods in China at night when a strange dog-like creature suddenly jumped out of the darkness and launched itself at one of them. It had red glowing eyes, a wide grin full of teeth, and did not look anything like a normal dog up close. The man tried to push it away, while his friends watched in shock, not knowing what to do. The creature eventually backed off and ran deep into the woods and disappeared into the dark, leaving the whole group completely terrified. Humanoid horses. An explorer moving through the jungle in Mexico spotted something very strange hiding among the trees. Two horse-like creatures that had human faces instead of normal horse heads. Moving right alongside them was a regular horse, like it was part of their group. They were all moving quietly through the jungle together, like they were trying to reach somewhere without being noticed. The explorer watched and filmed from a distance without making a sound. Nobody knows where they were heading or how long this strange little group has been secretly moving through those Mexican jungles. Creepy eagle. Some videos stay buried for a reason, and this one from Texas sat hidden for nearly 30 years before someone finally put it out. A hiker recorded an eagle perched on a rock in April of 1997, and when you look closely at the face, it is not the face of any bird. It is human. The moment it sensed the camera, it took off and disappeared into the sky. And somehow, this footage vanished right along with it, until now. Who had it? Why they kept it secret? And what exactly was sitting on that rock? None of it has an answer yet. Colorado Dogman. A Colorado local secretly filmed something moving across an open field that shocked him badly. A tall, dark creature walking upright on two legs, but had the body and head of a dog. It moved with long, heavy strides like it owned that field, and had no idea anyone was watching. People have been reporting dogman sightings for years across the country, and this footage might just be one of the clearest looks anyone has ever gotten at one. Creepy crawler. A security camera in a small town in China picked up something strange, moving through the street late at night. A pale creature was scratching at the wall of a building, and then suddenly stopped, turned, and looked directly into the camera like it knew it was being watched, then moved off, and was never spotted in that town again. Nobody could identify what it was from the footage, but the real question is whether it is ever coming back or not. And now, let us move on to our subscriber pick of the day. A local man in India found a horned creature with sharp teeth hiding near his property, and did something most people would never even think about. He caught it, and tied it up with rope all by himself. The creature looked absolutely terrifying up close, but the man stood right next to it without any fear on his face at all. He filmed it, tied it down, and calmly handed it over to the authorities. Whatever this thing was doing near his home that night, it picked the wrong person to cross.